Good morning, everybody. Okay, these are cucumbers from my garden. They've just been washed, all different sizes of them. They're not coming in very fast. So I'm going to see if I've got enough to make a good batch of pickle relish. It calls for 8 cups of finely chopped cucumbers. I don't know if I'll have that much, but we'll see here in a minute. I'm going to use this grinder, and it's got the big blade on it to grind them up, because even with the big holes they're pretty small, and it makes a nice relish. Okay, I'm going to start by cutting these up just in pieces and putting them down into the grinder. This is a hand-powered grinder, as you can see by the wheel. It would work better if it was bolted to a board. You see these holes? That's made for bolting it to a board, but I don't have it that way yet. Okay. Now we're going to start grinding. See, it moves around. You see it coming out there. Okay, I'll bring you back when I've got all of it ground up. Okay, we finished grinding the cucumbers, and there's the texture. There's the grind on them. It's not super tiny, because I didn't want them super tiny. This is for a relish. So now I've got to get my peppers, my bell pepper, green bell pepper, red bell pepper, and onion and celery prepped. Okay, we're grinding up the red bell pepper, and we had to switch over to orange bell pepper because we ran out of red. And I'm going to need 1.5 cups to go with this recipe of red bell pepper, and 1.5 cups of green bell pepper. Okay, now we're putting celery through the meat grinder, or through the vegetable grinder, because we need 1.5 cups, and I've got less than a cup in here. So we'll keep putting it through one at a time until we get enough. Okay, this is the homegrown onions that we're going to add to the relish. This is going to be a sweet pickle relish. It's my favorite. And I just need 3/4 cup of the onions run through the grinder. A little bit of celery or something still coming out, but some onion. So we'll get 3/4 cup of ground onions. Okay, it calls for 1/2 cup of pickling salt, which I've got here. I've got less than 1/2 cup because the whole recipe is only about 75% of what I've got in ingredients. It's only about 75% of the recipe, so I've got less than 1/2 cup here. I'll sprinkle that in. And I'm going to stir it, and then I'm going to cover it, and it just sits for 4 hours while you go do something else. It's already pretty. Love these colors. So I'll bring you back when I start on the next step. Okay, there's my beautiful relish. I'm getting ready to strain it and rinse it. I'm just going to strain it through this, and then I'll use the pan to make the brine and cook the relish in. Here's my vinegar. This is, like I said before, this is about 3/4 of a recipe. So the vinegar amount is 2 1/4 cups for 3/4 of a recipe. 2 1/4 tablespoons of mustard seeds. 2 1/4 tablespoons of celery seeds, and 1 2/3 cups of sugar. So let me get started on getting the relish strained. After it's strained, then I've got to rinse it. That gets all that extra salt off. The purpose of the salt is to pull out any extra water that's in these vegetables so that they can receive the brine better. So I'll bring you back in just a second. Okay, I have drained my relish and I'm ready to start my brine. Oops. I'm going to put in my vinegar. My sugar. Mustard seed. And celery seed. Get my fire going and bring it to a boil, a low boil, and then I'll bring you back for the next step. Alright, the brine is boiling. I'm getting ready to put my, I'll be getting steamed up a little here. Getting ready to put my relish in here. There. So pretty. Get this stirred. And then what I will be doing is bringing it back up to a boil over about medium heat. Stir it frequently for about 10 minutes. That gets all the vegetables heated through. I'll bring you back. Okay, it's through boiling. I'm going to turn it off. I've had my jars heating in my steam canner. I'll demonstrate again how to use that. I've just had them heating up, not boiling yet. I'll get my lids and rings over here and get ready to put this stuff in jars. Alright, I've got my first jar out. I should turn this a little bit. Now then, you don't strain this out. You don't use a straining spoon or anything, because you want that acidified liquid in there. It's 100% vinegar. And we're going to bring it up to 1/2 inch headspace. I'm just putting this in 1/2 pints because 1/2 pint at a time is pretty much all we'll use. You can have a little bit more. Okay, debubble it. Need the, no,
what?
The cloth.
Oh,
sorry. There's a dirt dauber in the window. Okay, wipe the rim. Put on a clean lid. Clean ring. Just there it goes. That's just all the tightness it needs. Put it in the canner, and then I'll start and fill up the rest of the jars and bring you back. Okay, I've got all the jars in here. That is 10 1/2 pints of sweet pickle relish. And now I'm going to be waiting for it to steam up. I'll wait till the steam is venting out of this hole right here. And when the hand gets all the way around to this dark green, I'll start my time. Okay, we got a lot of steam coming out of here, and it's fully vented. And we know that because the red indicator is over in the dark green for my elevation. I'm under 1,000 feet here. We've got the timer set for 10 minutes, and when it goes off, I'll turn this off and set it again for 5 minutes before I remove the lid. Okay, the timer went off. Time to, oh, this is on popping. They set for 10 minutes in the steam canner. So now, it's pretty good. Time to take them out. I'm going to show you something while I'm at it. You might have noticed one of these. Ooh, that reflection. Let me do it over here. If you've done your lids and your rings right, the rings will be a little bit loose when you take them out, because as the solvent softens and melts over the edge of the jar, it pulls that lid down, and the rings, see there? It's really hot, y'all. The rings will move, and that's okay. They're supposed to. They're supposed to move. It shouldn't be any problem to take the rings off when you're through canning. The rings should actually just come off just by spinning them with your fingers. So, here we go. 10 beautiful half-pint jars of homemade sweet relish. That glare is something else, isn't it? Aren't they gorgeous? Okay. If you have any questions, just leave a comment, and thanks for watching.